Hi everybody, how are you doing? This is Mr. David and welcome again to a new video in which we are going to learn a little bit of this marvelous language, English. Okay, so what can I say? Today the video is a listening practice, so that's why you are not going to have the subtitles written by me. But you can turn on the subtitles after watching the video. I really recommend you watching the video first. Okay, try to get the information you can, and I want you to forget about reading, okay, so only listening. So let's see if you can understand what they say, because I'm going to talk about different topics through the different videos I'm going to do in this line of listening practice. Okay, so this is completely apart from the main course. Okay, so I am going to have the main course in which I'm redoing things, but meanwhile for me it's much easier to do this kind of videos for you and try to help you improve your listening skills. So let's start. Come on, let's start. As you can see in the title, I'm going to talk about native speakers versus non-native speakers in teaching. Okay, so should I have a native speaker when I receive the lessons, or any person can teach me? Well, obviously not any person. So I'm going to give you, well, certain ideas, my own opinion. Okay, that's my own opinion. So I hope they are, that my ideas are helpful to you. Okay, so let's start. As I always say in different interviews with different teachers, I always say, or I always ask the same questions like, what do you think? Native speakers or non-native speakers by the time of learning a lesson, so learning a language, okay? So learning a language in general. So in general, we all think exactly the same, even the native speakers. Being native is not essential, it's not compulsory, it's not obligatory to teach a language, okay? And otherwise, assuming that just being native means that they can teach, that is impossible. I'm going to put myself as an example. I'm an English teacher and I studied a degree of English teaching education, so I'm good at teaching English and also some other things, because in public schools, if you are a tutor or the main teacher of a class, you can teach mathematics, you can teach lengua, okay, Spanish, you can teach art, you can teach other things, okay, except for physical education and music, I think, and religion. So yeah, so I teach so many other things, but I teach, for example, lengua. I teach Spanish to Spanish children, okay, so because we want to get better in orthography, or we want to be more creative in our texts, or whatever, but I'm not ready for teaching to foreigners, okay, so being a Spanish teacher for foreigners, or Spanish as a foreign language, for me is rather impossible right now, because I haven't received the formation. Actually, I didn't have any intention on having that, okay, so I never had the intention of teaching Spanish to others. It's quite ironic, but you know, knowing the language, it doesn't mean that you know how to teach it. Okay, so that's why I always say what you have to look for is a ready teacher, okay? A teacher who is ready, a teacher who is prepared to teach, okay? And has maybe certain certifications, but also experience, okay? Mainly experience. You know, you do whatever, you learn whatever by doing it, okay? So if you want to be a good teacher, or so experience is the best teacher ever, okay? So if you want to learn absolutely anything. So it doesn't matter if you are native or not, okay? Or if your teacher is native or not. But, yes, there is a but in here. Depending on the level you are, maybe in very high levels in which we are discussing about expressions that are better, idioms, phrasal verbs, maybe the help of a native speaker can be very handy, even if it's not a native speaker. I mean, maybe you can find native friends whom you can talk to, okay? So you can talk to those people and practice your English, and then, yeah, everybody is ready to say, oh, that expression is weird, we say that, okay? So these are like very tiny mini lessons that you can have every now and then, okay? So you can find a lot of those on TikTok, for example. You have 1 minute and then they explain you, how do you say that in English? Oh, do you know how to say that? Or do you know that you have been answering to this question wrong all your life? Okay, this is the solution. So you find a lot of mini lessons on TikTok, for example, and these are more or less what you can find if you talk to native speakers. But you know, it's to make more perfect what is perfect. Okay, so if you get to that level, well, that means that you have a really good English and you don't really need to continue with a teacher, because the rest of your formation is your experience. Okay, watching films, listening to songs, talking to people who are native or very with very high level, and that's all. So yeah, in conclusion, I can say that what you need to find is a person with experience. You're looking for teachers more than enterprises, looking for teachers who are very who are expert, okay, who are expert in teaching. And I think that's all. But you may feel like, okay, yes, you say that because you're a teacher. I learned English on my own. I have to admit that, okay? I learned English at high school and primary school, okay, and at university, so I continued learning. I continued to learn. You know, that's a very common mistake. Continue goes with two infinitives, so I continued to learn. But you can use keep on, okay? So I kept on learning. In that case, you can use the ing. Okay, an extra lesson I give to you. Okay, so I kept on learning at university, but that was not enough. I had to learn by myself. I have the situation that many of you had. I didn't have money or time to go to an academy, so I had to learn by myself. But I was a very good student, and I still am a good student with good strategies and methodologies and pedagogy. So, so I have certain strategies that I can share with you. But what I have to tell you is that I apply those things. I use those strategies on myself, and I learn English on my own, okay? And actually following the advice I give you, okay? So that's what I did, okay? That's what I did. But you are going to be faster if you have a teacher who can guide you better, okay? That's really important. Sadly, throughout my life, my teachers were not maybe the good I thought they should be, or they should have been, better said. But, you know, that's my opinion, okay? Maybe they are good teachers, but we don't have this feeling, you know, we didn't have that connection. That's why that's one of my strategies when I teach. I try to find that connection to you. I try to find what you like. Well, that's another story. That's what I say, or that's what I mean about being ready. So being ready to teach is not only about knowing the rules of the language. It's about knowing your students. It's about knowing and being familiar to the mistakes your students may have. Okay, and that you receive that through experience. There is not a book that you can read and do it. Well, actually there is, but everything that is a book is very artificial, so the brain doesn't digest that very well. But the idea is that information, put that into practice as soon as possible. That's the point, okay? So to put that into practice as soon as possible. And when you are with a teacher, you are continuously putting into practice, and that teacher is putting you into situations in which you have to use your English. So, well, all in all, my conclusion again is you have to find a teacher who is an expert in teaching, okay? And also, obviously, has a really good level of English, so he or she can, you know, go through the process with you until you get to the level you want, okay? Or the level you are, or to the level you are looking for, okay? In that case, so I was trying to find another expression, but well, I went blank. That's good, because sometimes people are like very nervous about getting blank, okay? About being like, oh, I don't know how to express that. Okay, the idea is try to find another way, a synonym, other words to explain the same thing. But you know, I'm a teacher. I am an expert in teaching. I'm an expert in English as well. I speak so much. I think I consume more English than Spanish nowadays. And even with that, I commit mistakes every now and then, and also I go blank. So what's the problem? Okay, so that's the thing. Motivation is also essential. So, well, as promised, I don't want to go further to 10 minutes, although I'm going to how can I say, I'm going to cross the line a little bit, but you know, I hope that you enjoyed the video, that you take this advice into consideration, and see you in the next video. And if you had any problem, or if you want to know a little bit more or whatever, don't forget that you have here down below on the description of this video my Telegram group link. Also, my PayPal link if you want to contribute with a donation. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much in advance if you do it. And also alternatives. I mean, if you want to learn with a very good teacher, I really recommend you one that is fantastic. And you know, I always give you the best. So, and it's not myself, it's not me. It's not me. So, well, see you in the next video, and thank you very much for being here with me for these 10 minutes. Bye bye.